about education now? Where do you think it is now compared to then?
Oh, I think there's some good things, and I think they've started to improve. Back in my day, they got crazy on some of these modern things. We got forced into modern math, which was a waste of money. They finally decided the kids weren't learning any mathematics, so they took it out. And I think the schools in the last 10 years have improved terrifically over the way they had been going.
They were in a bad place.
Oh, terrible state. It was a shame to take taxpayers' money for what wasn't happening in schools. There was a time that really, colleges went bad too. You know, they just lowered standards to get them out, and I think college kids a couple of years ago weren't as bright as kids that graduated that I taught in high school back in those days. Didn't know as much. I think the kids then knew more. They got to the point that you couldn't teach. You were just a disciplinarian. They were on drugs. And it's improving. It's improving. Thank God.
Yeah. You think young people now are going to be different than they were in that real loose period?
Oh, yes. Yeah, the kids today are more shy. I noticed it down in Florida that the kids are more serious and don't have the drug problems. Oh, occasionally, but there's more energy put to learning than there had been. Then I think another thing, school boards have wised up to the fact that physical education is not a waste of money. Physical education is a part of a curriculum. And they started to spend some money on girls' athletics or activity, whatever you want to. And it's made them feel a little more secure. And as a result of it, that's a very, very important phase of education. If you don't have a good, healthy body, then you don't have a good, healthy mind.
Well, in the period when you were first teaching, you had to walk and you had to work to get your food and stuff. And then you go into a period where people have cars.
That's right. We had no cars then, and sure, I worked 2 years before I ever bought a car. Couldn't afford it. And
well, even families, if they had one car, were lucky.
We didn't have a car for a long, long time in my family. A little town, we didn't need it. And if we wanted to go to Cumberland, my mother had a pass on the railroad. The train stopped there. She'd go down, get on the train at 10 o'clock in the morning, and at 4 o'clock could be brought back and do her shopping in the city. And you really didn't need the vehicles. Oh, I remember, I think, the first car that ever came to my little hometown.
That would have been in the teens then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Are there ways you're like your parents?
What?
Are there ways that you are like your parents?
Oh. Well, I was a hard worker like my dad and my mother. I don't know that I've mimicked him in any way. I don't think I have. Other than I have to give him credit and my mother credit to the point that I got where I am. I mean, there was terrific guidance, or uneducated guidance, but it was guidance for what they knew as far as their formal education was concerned. And I really am only where I am primarily because of my dad's insistence that I would do this. I mean, you see, back in those days, if you were a son of a railroad, you went railroading. My two older brothers went railroading. And I had no interest in railroading. And it was really my mother's and father's direction that put me where I am. Not knowing that, but they just felt that this was an avenue to get started and do something.
And he didn't push you into the railroading. So
No, they didn't do that. Like some people did during the time I was teaching school, pushing kids into things that they weren't equipped to do. That happened a lot.
Did your parents live to be old?
No, my mother died at the age of 63 and my father about 64. Mm-hmm. No, that's not very old.
Oh.
Father was a very hard worker. Raising 4 boys, no bathroom, outside John, big old wash tub you set in the center of the kitchen table, or kitchen floor, for the first guy gets the clean water, the second guy adds hot water to that, the third guy adds more hot water to that. That's the way we took our baths.
Oh,
and to go to no furnace, we had a coal stove, no heat in my bedroom. My mother always insisted the window be up, always. Open window. I'd put a brick in the oven, wrap it in flannel, and take it to bed to keep my feet warm. Had big, heavy comforts over. Oh, yes. Yeah, yes, indeed.
And cold in the winter there.
Cold? Oh, I've gotten up already and seen snow on the floor. My mom insisted that we have a window open, fresh air. And I thank her for it.
Yeah. Well, her work must have been tremendous.
Oh, God, that poor woman. She had bunions and sore feet. Worked like a dog, but a terrific mother. Couldn't ask for one better.
That generation, their whole goal in life was raising their children.
Oh, that's right. That's all they did. You canned, you cooked, and washed clothes. And my mother did it with a washboard.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid that, and I'd take the soapy water and put my father's overalls down on the brick wall and take a broom and scrub them. They had to be scrubbed. Yeah, he was proud. They were proud people.
Yeah.
Yep. We always wore clean clothes, never wore dirty clothes, maybe darned, but not too good looking. But I ate well.
But as far as her personality went, you probably didn't have a lot of clue, or she didn't either, about what she was really like and what she would have done if she hadn't had all that hard work.
Oh, a very pretty woman. Big boned, but later years you could see the draw on her face that it was taking its toll. Yeah.
All the hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of hard work.
Did she get to do anything? Did she sing or have any?
No, I don't remember of any hobbies that she had other than sit around and darn and cook and go to church on Sunday nights. She had a cat that would follow her to church and sit in the vestibule, and then coming home. If we'd be out playing at night and go home, Mom wasn't there, you could always go to a neighbor and you might look in and there she'd be sitting in the chair, sound asleep. The other lady sitting there, just sitting there. Just worn out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she lived for her family. She did.
When her family was gone, she didn't live much past that, did she? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, those were hard. Seemed like those were hard years for people. My dad spent his life seeing that we had to start too, and
Yeah.
So railroading must have been pretty hard in those days.
Well, it was hard from the standpoint that you got no overtime. My dad used to be gone maybe 18 hours at a time. And he'd get up to the top of the mountain and they'd have to take him on the other side of the mountain and be gone. And the only time we knew he was coming home, we lived not far from the railroad tracks. When he would pass in front of the house, he'd toot the whistle and we knew that he was back home. But yeah, they were tough years. They were tough years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that would have been. What about World War I? Was he in World War I?
Oh no, my dad wasn't.
He was
my oldest brother just missed it too. I was the only one of the family who was in the service, and I was an old man when I went in. Had I been married and had a youngster at the time, I wouldn't have been drafted either.
Yeah.
I don't imagine. So that's the penalty I paid for not getting married early.
Of course, you couldn't know that.
Oh.
What do you think about the world now? Are we going to have a world in another 50, 100 years?
We're going to destroy ourselves.
You think we are?
I think that the way we're going, if we don't stop this thing, that I think that's what we're headed for, unless somebody gets smart enough to stop it. I don't think there's any question about it, as far as I'm concerned.
So you don't see any way out of that?
Well, I can see a way out of it if we can get together and talk things over, but as long as you have headstrong people that aren't willing to give, you're not going to get out of it. No, I think man will destroy himself one of these days. I don't know when. I don't know if it'll be 1,500 years from now or not, but he certainly is on the verge of trying to do it. We just look at all the stuff we have that we're flying around now, the gadgets, nuts and bolts up there. And I'm still crazy enough to believe that that's part of our trouble with the weather, that it's just disturbing the outer space. We've gone to the moon, we've done all this crazy stuff. I presume it's helpful, but I get disturbed when I think of all the starving people. It seems to me we'd have been better off to feed the starving people and go to the moon. Not that I don't believe in advancement, but just the way I feel about it.